Here are 10 things that you need to know to furnish your Airbnb property. You really only get to do this once. If you do this wrong, your Airbnb listing will suffer and you have to pay full price again to redo your Airbnb furnishing. So do this right the first time with this video and make all of the monies right away. Let's get into number one. Number one is research your competition. This is the fourth top 10 video I've done, and do you notice a trend? Researching your competition has everything to do with everything that you do. If you go onto Airbnb as a traveler right now, switch to I'm flexible in your search, choose entire home, and slide that price bar up a little bit to look at the most expensive 50% of listings in your area, you are going to find some listings that are both charging a lot of money and full, and you want to be that listing. And what's really great about Airbnb is they show you these listings. You can go to these listings and just copy what is working. Find 5 listings that you love, that are making money, that have future bookings on their calendar, and take their photos and make a little dream board so you can start to use them as inspiration for your next listing. The second thing you need to know to furnish your Airbnb property is to research shipping lead times. If you want to do this right and pick up a property and have that thing ready in a week, you need to know exactly how fast things arrive. For example, your favorite couch may take 6 weeks to arrive, which means you should buy that couch before you ever get the keys to your place. Because if you bought a house or signed a lease, waited till you got the keys, and then clicked order on that couch, you'd be waiting 6 weeks before you could go live and make money. On an absolutely normal day or series of days, I can get an apartment up in less than 72 hours. I can get a house done in less than 5 days. No questions asked, you just have to have access to your furniture all on time. Here is a super cool, likable pro tip for if you're doing multiple apartments at the same time. Schedule your furniture to arrive, but only sign the lease for one apartment to start early. Have all of your furniture for 3 or 5 apartments show up to that one address. Once you've received it all, activate the other 4 leases and just start moving the furniture into those next door units. You've just saved yourself thousands of dollars in rent by doing it this way. You'll typically find that your Amazon Prime stuff can get ordered the day before you get keys, but those couches, those armchairs, those beds, the big stuff, you're gonna order a week or 2 in advance, so plan ahead. Tip number 3, the thing that you should know is that the couch makes the space, and this is a design best practice. Whatever couch you pick is going to influence all of your photos. If you buy a big fluffy or leather couch, the place needs to look good with that couch. I've been teaching my students to use Photoshop to add couches, change wall color, do all sorts of cool stuff to know in advance if you like how the room will look. There are actually softwares that do this specifically. I just don't know the names of them, so I use Photoshop. But there are other softwares that you can use to plan ahead when you do your design. And what's more, number 4 says don't skip the ceiling. This is a fun one. If you look at the top performing Airbnbs in almost any city, you're going to notice that they have paid attention to the vertical space. They'll have hanging plants, a really cool chandelier, or they'll paint the ceiling nearly black along with the rest of the room. The reason why this matters, my friends, is if you watched the last top 10 video about the 10 things to get more bookings, you should be treating your listing like a sales funnel, like a marketing page, and your photos are the only thing that 6 out of 10 travelers care about. The better your photos look, the more bookings you're going to get. And photos are all aesthetic, it's not just logic. If you take a photo of a room with black walls but a white ceiling, it plays with the balance and composition of the photo. You're trying to entice someone to book. So you need to think of each photo like a little piece of art, like a little billboard. And if you treat this like a sales funnel, you might realize that a customer may convert at a higher percentage if you paint the ceiling dark with the rest of the room. Or if you use wallpaper or put a cool chandelier up there or just interesting lighting, something up there may convert better. And at the end of the day, Airbnb is just an algorithm. They're looking for the highest converting listings they can get. So this little change to your ceiling might be the thing that goes a long way when you're furnishing your Airbnb property. Tip number 5 is designed to keep you alive and going for a long time as an Airbnb host. You need to choose products that fit into multiple categories, ones that are durable and easy to clean, ones that are easy to design around, and 4, ones that are easy to replace. If you ever have to replace a couch or ever have to replace a chair, the worst thing for you is to find out that it's out of stock and not even a look-alike is available anymore. Do not pick stuff that you can't get replacements for. Otherwise, you have to redo your whole place all over again. Tip number 5 is such a big deal that I have a full-length video on this tip alone. I shot it while I was in Philadelphia launching like 25 or something properties at the same time in multiple buildings. That video is hyper valuable. If you haven't seen it yet, you're going to want to watch that one next. Tip number 6 is the length of stay trick. If you want shorter stays, pick loud design, something vibrant and fun where people scream, "I want to experience this place for a few days. I just have to be there." That's a short stay design style. If you want longer stays, or to have the option of longer stays where people will consider you seriously for a multi-week or longer stay, the place needs to be more cozy, more comfortable, less over the top. For example, opt for neon colors when you're a short stay kind of place, but go more towards pastels and soft blues and stuff like that when you do longer stays. You could even say that this is a product market fit argument, but as a person with over 25,000 reservations under his belt, no Airbnb property will only have one type of guest. So with that context, if you think you'll ever do longer stays, you might want to consider a long stay friendly design. Tip number 7 follows the lead of 6 here, but it's about amenities. Length of stay designed amenities. Think about it. A pool table is a great short stay amenity. A hot tub is a great short stay amenity. Washer and dryer means someone is staying long enough to need to use a washer and dryer. So if you have a hostel on coastal Mexico where people are passing through, maybe backpacking, staying for a couple of days, they may not need to wash their clothes. But if you're in inner city Dallas Airbnb where people are coming 5 days to work, they may want to wash their clothes. Some of these amenities are affordable. You can do them no matter what. For example, decaf coffee and tea. 1 out of every 3 travelers wants decaf coffee or tea. But it's not going to break your bank by putting a little decaf coffee in your home. Having a fully stocked kitchen is another safe one. It doesn't cost you any extra room to fill those drawers up with good stuff that people can use. I find that most listings don't have enough good kitchen photos. So if you make a good kitchen space, you're going to find that your place gets more bookings because you're appealing to families. There are some amenities that cut away certain groups when you add them. For example, having a king bed or having 2 queen beds in a room. One of my students in Miami found that his king bed condo does really well, but the one that has 2 queen beds in the master does not, because a couple traveling to Miami wanting a romantic trip wants 1 king bed without a second bed in the room. The only people that want 2 queen beds in the master room are people who are pinching pennies because they're trying to cram a group into a space. So by adding 2 queen beds in a room or adding bunk beds in a room and not having a king bed anywhere, no private king bed suite, you are cutting away a part of your customer base. That is dangerous. And that's not the only example of cutting out some of your consumers. Consider Orlando area. You want to theme your property, so you do a Disney theme, but everybody else does Disney theme anyway too. So you're not special, but what you've done is you've also wedged yourself into enthusiasts of Disney. You've niched yourself into a market where everyone else is niched there too. It would be safer for you to have a straightforward luxury design that anyone would pick, as opposed to something that people only pick when they're going to Disney. Think about it. Tip number 8 will make you great at any business, Airbnb or otherwise. It's basically project management. Don't blow out your timeline or your budget. When you launch and furnish a property, you should have a defined budget, a start time, and an end time, a time that your listing should be on market. I've seen hosts both go months without getting their property live and blowing their budget out by $20,000 or $30,000 on a house. If you do the first, you lose months of income. You could have made $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000 in all of the time that you were not live, but you wanted it perfect, which is not going to happen, especially not on your first one. And if you overspend because you're nervous that your place is not good enough, you'll fail to realize that there's a diminishing return at one point. A listing will make the best return on investment with a certain key amount of features. But if you overspend on an average property with average architecture on all these extras that no one asked for, you're not going to make any money on those things. I do find that many listings with a pool table don't deserve to have one. The listing's not nice enough to garner spending money on a pool table. Understand when your listing is destined to be a price competitive listing, and don't overspend in the process because now you lose your margin. Tip number 9 is controversial, and it is all mine. You can blame me if anybody yells at you for this, but buy props for your photos. You can have a 4-bedroom house And 3 of those 4 bedrooms can have a photo where there's an easel mirror and a big plant and a throw blanket and an accent pillow that won't stay there. You can just use it to spice up the photos. As long as those bedrooms are still a good quality, no one is going to yell at you for not owning 4 easel mirrors and 4 big umbrella plants and a bunch of throw blankets. You can save money by buying props and then moving these items around to make the photos come to life. Think of little things too, like colored books. You got a hardcover book that's bright blue or a hardcover book that's bright yellow, or a little black vase or fake flowers, things that you can easily move, but if it disappears in real life, no one's even going to remember that they saw those in the photos. People are going to like what they see, and they are going to remember the things that they need. If you advertise an EV charger, or a hot tub, or a gym, or a king bed, or 2 rollaway beds so there's extra places to sleep, or a washer and dryer, if you advertise things like these, you have to deliver those things. But props that bring photos to life are easily forgotten by the time the guest arrives. That can cut your bottom line on a 3-bedroom property by $500 or more. Like I said, that's controversial, but this is business, and you're talking to a guy that's built 4 7-figure businesses, and I've been in this game for over 8 years, and I'm still here while other people have grown and died by overspending. Companies like Stay Alfred, these are the tips that will keep you in business. So follow this channel if you want real-world advice that actually works and is sustainable for your bank account. And this concept of props I call eye candy. There are things that your photos absolutely have to perform the best on Airbnb. Like we said, your listing is a marketing page. It's a sales funnel. Your photos need to be interesting. They need to be complex. They need to come to life. They need to have contrast. They need to draw the eye and excite the customer at the same time. I've got another video dedicated to eye candy. Of course, watch that too. Number 10, I'm going to give you 4 words. I want you to write them on a sheet of paper, and I want you to stare at them, and then I want you to look at the room, and then stare at those 4 words again, and look at the room again, and find a way to apply these 4 words. Paint, plants, wallpaper, lighting. You need all 4. If you don't do wallpaper, a mural or a textured wall or a wood wall or a stone wall or something that is not just paint. You want more than just a variation of color. You want a variation of textures. You also want 3-dimensional elements in your space, and plants can do that for you. Lighting makes a home more inviting, and it also makes the place easier to photograph. Without good, strong, even lighting, your photos are just gonna suck. No one likes an underexposed photo. And if you get good at this, you can have spotlights on pieces of art and uplights that go into plants or against textured walls, and you can create a whole different mood in bedrooms or rest areas or play areas with recessed lightings, LED lights, all sorts of different and cool stuff. And again, go back to number 1, do market research with that page with those 4 words, paint, plants, wallpaper, and lighting. You will see a masterclass in applying these 4 in all of the best Airbnbs you will ever see. You will see color, you'll see texture, and you will see light. And I've got a bonus tip for you, one that hopefully earns your subscribe click if you're one of the, say, 12% of people not subscribed to this channel. You do not want to, mark my words, ever cut corners on pillows or your mattress, because even though you can't see that in photos, the guest spends most of their time sleeping on your bed. No matter how good you furnish a place, if you cut corners on your pillows or your mattress, you will lose your 5-star review. Again, watch this deep dive video on tip number 5. And if by chance you've seen this video already, thank you, by the way, watch my video on eye candy next. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. As always, guys, I will see you on the other side.